Okay, the one that you sent, Vaporwave, is really long.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read it up. It's gonna be great.
All right.
All right. Are you guys ready? Mute your mics when you're ready.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Ready.
mute your mics when you're ready, and let's begin. This is my first attempt at writing a story, so hopefully I'm as literate as some of you talented people here. I'm a little scared this is going to be way long, but I love tension and build up when I read erotic stuff. So I'm just trying to write how I think I'd enjoy a story. This takes place back in freshman year of college. I'm 5'7", and at the time was in extremely good shape because I was on a full ride wrestling scholarship. Winter break just started, so I went back home to be with my family for the holidays. When I was in high school, there was one friend group of 5 girls that I loved because not only were they model status looking good, they were down to earth and genuinely fun to be around. They were all on the gymnastic team. I would have cut my arm off to be with any of these girls, but there was one girl in particular named Peyton that I had on a pedestal. She was 5'1", had brown hair, and current day she's an underwear model with a very large Instagram following. No, I won't link for privacy reasons, sorry. Just trust me, guy, this girl is 10 with no makeup on. I talked with Peyton a bit and made sure I sat next to her in one of my high school classes. The sophomore year, after we were very friendly, I mustered every ounce of my courage and asked her to homecoming. She said no. I was devastated, but in true nice guy fashion, I was still super accommodating and fawned over her still. She made it clear we were just friends, so I licked her boots for the rest of high school, thinking at some point I'd get a shot. Well, many moons and boyfriends later, we graduated and I never got a shot, but at this point I had accepted my fate and we were best friends. To this day, we are still best friends. So I'm back home for the holidays and I spent all my time at her house. My parents got divorced and hers had as well. Her mom loves me to death and treats me like the son she never had, so their home was my sanctuary from my crazy house. I guess at this point, I thought of her as more of a sister than a friend. One night we decided to have a little party in the basement and get the old gang together. I invited my best guy friend and the 5 gymnast girls are all there. We party hard and the booze is flowing. Eventually everyone was passed out on the couch like a pile of puppies because they were so drunk. Yeah. Only me, Peyton, and her best friend Maggie was still awake. Now, Maggie is an insanely beautiful blonde girl that can get a little crazy sometimes. She's one of the most open girls I've ever met. Peyton and Maggie were such good friends because they were on the same level in the looks department and got the same amount of attention from guys. They would walk into a bar together and suck all the oxygen out of the room. Maggie has absolutely no filter and a trucker mouth to boot. Because I was basically treated like a gay friend in this group of girls, I've heard it all. I know all of the sexual histories, the fucked up things that I've done or want to do. They talk about periods, dicks, talking shit, or taking shits, you name it. So they are talking about the guys they have been hooking up with, and the conversation is turning dirty. Then they ask me if I have hooked up with any girls yet. Well, in college, I really broke out of my shell and found myself. I hooked up with my fair share of girls in those wonderful years, but I never brought it up or talked about it with people. When I told them I was killing it at college, they were shocked. Immediately, they wanted to know everything, and you know girls, they always want the details. I tell them my tales and stuff is to say they are seeing me in a new light. When I look back, I think this is where the switch flipped. I went from being this meek asexual friend to suddenly becoming a viable sexual being. They all knew I wasn't gay, but thought I might be a virgin. After blowing their minds with my sex stories, Maggie gets bored and grabs Peyton's computer. She pulls up Omegle and we start talking with random people online. The girls are enjoying the entertainment of seeing all these crazy-looking girls looking dicks. We are all very close so we can fit on camera, and obviously I place myself in the middle. Suddenly Maggie turns to Peyton and out of the blue says, "Is Bacon as strong as I think he is? How the heck should I know? I have seen all these girls naked, years up walking in on them, changing by accident, or going skinny dipping, nips, slips, the whole 9 yards. They had no problem changing in front of me. None of us are shy, so at one point or another I've seen them all naked. Well, how is that fair? Because I know for a fact you've seen us butt ass naked. How the heck has he managed to sneak by all these years without any of us getting a good look at him? Honestly, I have no idea. You guys obviously weren't putting in the same effort into seeing hot members of the opposite sex naked as I was. No, it's probably because you have a micro dick and make sure none of us saw it because you were too embarrassed. Maggie, you can't say that. I'm pretty positive Bacon doesn't have a small dick because I've seen him in a wrestling singlet. But what if he did? Then you rocked that shit, man. Motion of the ocean. Guys, I'm still here, you know. I don't have a micro dick. You literally just said you thought I might be hung. Okay, then how big? What? How big are you? Meanwhile, there's some 12-year-old kid in a Batman mask on Omegle watching this all happen, wondering what the hell is going on. So we exit out for a second. I'm drunk and not thinking straight. But I am still not sure how the words you want to see managed to slip out of my mouth. Yep, it's only fair. Drop your pants. What? Only if Payson says she wants to see, I'm not flashing her against her will to indulge her. You pervert. Dude, I don't give a shit. See one dick, you have seen them all, right? Go for it. I couldn't do it. I chickened out and they knew that they had called my bluff. We returned to talking to people on Omegle and some guy came out who was in good shape and had a dick that must have been like 10 inches long. He asked them to show their boobs so he could come because he was closed. I laughed and was about to skip, but then Maggie was like, wait. I looked over and she was biting her lips. All the sex talk had finally got to her and she was horny. I swear the girls took one look at each other, shrugged, and before I could blink, they were completely topless. This dude basically hit the jackpot and he came in a matter of seconds. We were in hysterics and I told them that they probably gave that guy one of the sexiest memories he will ever have. Hell yeah, we're doing the men of the world a valuable service. Guys, I have no problem being next to cute naked girls, but if I end up in a porno somewhere on the internet, I'm gonna kill you. Relax, stop being such a Debbie Downer. These are probably the best tits you have ever seen in your life. Neither of these girls had massive boobs. She's at the best, but very cute. Maggie has very small pink nipples, and Peyton is Italian, so her nipples are a little more tan and brown. So beautiful. What the fuck? To be fair, they're both beyond perky. At this point, I still wasn't even thinking anything sexual because it's just seared into my brain that these girls are just friends and they are off limits. That doesn't stop me from looking at and admiring, though. I decided to poke fun at them because they were saying I had a micro dick earlier. Girls, please, I'm an ass man, so your little boobs don't do shit for me. Maggie punched me in the arm and Peyton covered her boobs with her hands, then pretended to whisper to them and told them not to listen to the mean man, and they was just perfect. Back to Omegle, and the girls positioned the camera so you couldn't see they were topless anymore. Now you would think that sexual tension was high, but this still wasn't an unfathomable situation, so at no point did I think anything was going to happen. I'd already tried my luck with these girls for years and never made my headway. I literally didn't think it was even possible. Now here is where things take a big turn. Apparently we all wanted alcohol poisoning that night, so we decided to play an Omegle drinking game. Take a shot every time you saw a dick. Well, we quickly realized that we wouldn't last 3 minutes doing that, so the whiskey was quickly replaced with shots of beer. They ended up flashing 4 or 5 more guys and even teasingly tried pulling off my pants to join them in the flashing fun at one point. I still had his huge mental block and didn't let them do it, but they managed to get my shirt off. I'm really proud of my body because of the insane numbers of hours a week I spent training. I cut a lot of weight to wrestle, so my body fat was under 7%, and I had the abs to show for it. Felt nice to show off a little bit and hear my friends tell me how good I was looking. Eventually we matched with a couple who looked to be in their late 20s, and immediately we could tell that these people probably had money. They were sitting on their bed so we could see the rest of the bedroom, and it was massive, very modern, contemporary, and well put together. The room may have looked good, but this couple was gorgeous. They looked like they were straight out of a GQ magazine.